Thousands of years ago, a man named Xu Wenwu discovered 10 mysterious rings. These ancient weapons gave him incredible strength and allowed him to live for centuries. But instead of using their power wisely, Wenwu became obsessed with control. He formed an army called the 10 Rings and spent centuries conquering kingdoms and overthrowing governments. Eventually, Wenwu heard about a hidden village called Ta Lo, where people were said to possess extraordinary abilities and live alongside mythical creatures. Believing the village could give him even greater power, he set out to find it. During the journey, Wenwu encountered Ying Li, a guardian of Ta Lo. She refused to tell him how to reach the village, and the two ended up fighting. Despite Wenwu possessing the 10 rings, Ying Li easily defeated him, using the mysterious fighting techniques of Ta Lo. But instead of remaining enemies, the two fell in love. They eventually married and had 2 children, Shang and Shang. For the first time, Wenwu abandoned his violent life and locked away the 10 rings so he could live peacefully with his family. Ying Li later gave young Shang a special pendant and told him that it would always guide him home whenever he felt lost. Unfortunately, their peaceful life did not last. While Wenwu was away, members of the Iron Gang attacked their home. Ying Li sent her children inside and faced the attackers herself. Having given up her powers when she chose to live a normal life, she could no longer defend herself and was killed. When Wenwu returned and discovered his wife's body, grief consumed him. He put the 10 rings back on and returned to his old violent ways. He also began training Shang from a very young age, turning his son into a deadly martial artist. When Shang was 14, Wenwu sent him on his first assassination mission. He claimed that the leader of the Iron Gang was responsible for Ying Li's death and told Shang to kill him. Shang completed the mission, but instead of returning to his father, he disappeared. He moved to San Francisco, changed his name to Sean, and tried to bury his violent past. Years later, Shang is living an ordinary life with his best friend Katie. The two work as valet drivers and have no idea that their peaceful routine is about to end. While riding a bus to work, they are suddenly attacked by members of the 10 Rings. The attackers want the pendant around Shang-Chi's neck, but he refuses to give it up because it is the last thing he has from his mother. A massive fight breaks out on the moving bus. Shang-Chi quickly proves that he is far more skilled than the attackers expect. But then Razor Fist arrives. His blade can cut through almost anything, and his attacks begin tearing the bus apart. The brakes are destroyed, the driver is knocked unconscious, and the bus goes completely out of control. Katie is forced to take over the steering wheel, while Shang-Chi continues fighting Razor Fist. Eventually, Razor Fist cuts the bus into 2 sections. Shang-Chi manages to protect the passengers and pushes Razor Fist toward the rear section before it breaks away and crashes. But Razor Fist still escapes with Shang-Chi's pendant. Realizing that the 10 Rings will now target his sister, Xiaoling Shang-Chi decides to travel to Macau. Katie insists on coming with him, so Shang-Chi finally tells her about his past. However, he lies about one important detail, claiming that he never completed the assassination mission his father gave him. When they arrive in Macau, they follow the address from a postcard that Shang believes Xiaoling sent him. It leads them to an underground fight club, where Shang-Chi is shocked to discover that his next opponent is his own sister. Xiaoling has spent years resenting Shang-Chi for abandoning her. When he left home, he promised to return in 3 days, but he never came back. She defeats him in the fight before they finally talk. Shang explains that the 10 Rings attacked him and stole his pendant. He believes they will now come after Xiaoling because she possesses the matching pendant. But when Shang asks why she sent him the postcard, Xiaoling reveals that she never sent it. Shang immediately realizes that his father arranged everything. Before they can escape, the 10 Rings attack the building. Xiaoling manages to escape with her crew, while Shang and Katie are forced to fight their way out. During the escape, Xiaoling eventually returns and helps them defeat the attackers. But Death Dealer appears, steals her pendant, and escapes. Shang chases him and fights him until Wenwu suddenly arrives. Instead of killing his son, Wenwu takes everyone back to the 10 Rings headquarters. There, Xiaoling explains how badly Wenwu treated her after their mother died. He refused to train her because she reminded him of Ying Li. So Xiaoling secretly taught herself martial arts by watching the boys train Wenwu, then reveals why he brought his children back. After Ying Li's death, he spent years studying Ta Lo. He eventually discovered a hidden path leading toward the village and became convinced that Ying Li was trapped behind a mysterious gate. According to Wenwu, he has heard Ying Li calling to him and asking him to rescue her. Shang and Xialing insist that their mother is dead, but Wenwu refuses to believe them. Using Ying Li's pendant, Wenwu discovers a hidden passage and announces that his army will march to Talo to rescue his wife. When Xialing asks what he will do if the villagers try to stop him, Wenwu calmly says he will burn the entire village down. Shang refuses to help him, so Wenwu orders both children thrown into prison. Inside the prison, Shang, Xialing, and Katie discover Trevor Slattery, a man Wenwu has kept alive for entertainment. They also meet a strange creature named Morris. Trevor explains that Morris comes from Talo and can guide them through the enchanted forest. The group escapes and follows Morris toward Talo. The journey is extremely dangerous because the forest is filled with illusions that can easily trap them. Eventually, they reach a waterfall. The water freezes and reveals a hidden passage leading into Talo. When they arrive, the villagers initially attack them, but Ying Li's sister, Ying Nan, stops the fight. Shang finally learns the truth about his mother's home. Nan explains that Talo is protected by the Great Protector Dragon and that the villagers have guarded a dark gate for thousands of years. Behind that gate is a terrifying creature called the Dweller in Darkness and an army of soul eaters. Long ago, the creature nearly destroyed their world. The Great Protector helped the people of Talo defeat it and seal it behind the gate. But now something has gone wrong. Nan reveals that the voice Wenwu believes belongs to Ying Li is actually the creature behind the gate. It has been using his grief to manipulate him. The Dweller knows that Wenwu possesses the 10 rings, and it wants him to break open the gate so it can escape. Shang and Xialing begin training with the people of Talo. Shang learns the fighting technique his mother once used against Wenwu, while Katie begins learning archery. As the battle approaches, Shang finally admits the truth about his past. He completed the assassination his father ordered and has spent years trying to escape the guilt. But Katie reminds him that he was only a child when his father turned him into a weapon. The next morning, Wenwu arrives at Talo with the entire 10 Rings army. Nan tries to convince him that Ying Li is not behind the gate, but Wenwu refuses to listen. The battle begins. Shang steps forward to stop his father. Wenwu attacks him and reminds him that he failed to protect his mother. Shang fires back that his father was the one who abandoned them and chose the 10 rings over his family. Enraged, Wenwu unleashes the power of the rings and sends Shang crashing into the water. Then Wenwu turns his attention toward the dark gate and begins attacking it. Cracks appear in the gate, allowing the Soul Eaters to escape. The 10 rings, soldiers try to fight them, but their weapons are useless. Xialing explains that only the weapons of Talo forged with dragon scale can kill the creatures. Realizing they must work together, the 10 rings and the people of Talo join forces. Meanwhile, Shang is sinking beneath the water. As he struggles to survive, he remembers his mother telling him that the good qualities of both his parents live inside him. He finally accepts who he truly is. At that moment, the Great Protector Dragon rises from the water. Shang climbs onto the dragon and returns to the battlefield. Nan tells him that he must stop. Wenwu Shang confronts his father again, but Wenwu still refuses to believe that the voice belongs to a monster. They fight once more. This time, Shang uses the technique his mother taught him. Instead of trying to overpower the rings, he redirects their movement and eventually gains control over them. Shang now has the power to defeat his father, but he refuses to kill him. Then the Dweller in Darkness finally escapes. The creature attacks both of them. Wenwu uses the rings to save Shang, but the monster grabs him and begins draining his soul. Only then does Wenwu realize the truth. The voice was never Ying Li. He had been manipulated by the monster all along. Knowing that he has little time left, Wenwu gives the 10 rings to Shang. The creature then drains his soul and Wenwu dies. The Dweller immediately turns its attention towards Shang, but Xialing arrives riding the Great Protector and attacks it. The creature is forced to retreat for the moment and heads toward the village, where it intends to consume even more souls. Shang quickly seals the dark gate with stones before riding the dragon toward the village to stop the monster. The Great Protector attacks the creature with its elemental powers and traps it using water, but the Soul Eaters begin collecting countless souls and feeding them to the Dweller in Darkness. The monster grows dramatically stronger. It breaks free from the dragon's attack and grabs the Great Protector. It begins pulling the dragon's soul from its body. Guangbo warns Katie that if the monster manages to consume the dragon's soul, it will become unstoppable. He tells her that they must attack its throat. Everyone begins attacking the creature together, but one of the Soul Eaters grabs Guangbo and drains his soul. The creature then grabs Xialing and begins killing her. Shang grabs his sister's hand and refuses to let go. Xialing pull moment, Katie takes aim and fires her final arrow directly toward its throat. The dragon's soul is saved and the creature is weakened. The Great Protector drags the monster toward the water and restrains it with its powers. Shang jumps onto the creature and drives the 10 rings directly into its chest. Using the rings with complete control, Shang unleashes their power and destroys the monster. The Soul Eaters are destroyed along with it. The Great Protector carries Shang and Xialing safely back to shore. However, many people have died during the battle. That night, the survivors honor everyone who sacrificed their lives. Their courage has allowed a new dawn to begin. With the darkness defeated, the Great Protector rises back into the sky. Later, Shang and Katie return to San Francisco and tell their friends everything that happened. Nobody believes their story, and they question where Shang's sister is, if everything they are saying is actually true. Shang explains that Xialing returned home to take control of their father's illegal operation and shut it down. Still, nobody believes them. Then Wang suddenly appears and asks Shang whether he still has one of the rings. Shang confirms that he does. Wang takes Shang and Katie with him, leaving everyone else completely shocked. And that is where the movie ends.